Important for your health.
What is?
Meat is important for your health. We got some bone, got some blood, you know, got some skin and some fat. Meat. So we're gonna cut it up into
What kind of meat is it?
pork meat.
It's pork meat.
Pork meat we bought from the store, you saw, and I'm gonna cut it into pieces, chunks, so we can fry it up, nice and good.
So we cut it in big chunks and we leave the fat on.
That's right.
Because we want all the flavor from the fat.
And I need a serrated knife. This is totally not chef style, but this is Rebecca style.
What are we listening to, Rebecca?
This is Flashlight Radio.
The new Flashlight Radio CD?
Yep, they're pretty amazing.
Fantastic.
I like them so much that I bought their CD and their t-shirt.
Oh yeah.
I t-shirt today because I wore it dirty.
You've been wearing it since the show.
That's right. Okay, so, chunks. We're going to fry it up. So we will see you back in 5 after we start frying it up. Okay, so now we are browning the meat. And this is what it looks like. It's just started browning. And we've turned up the heat to medium, 5 or 6, high medium. And we're going to fry it until there's like brown on the outside. All brown on the outside. I'm going to stir it around. Make sure you stay in the kitchen because if the heat is high and you're around fat, it can catch fire, so you gotta be careful. And after you cut meat on the cutting board, for all those people who don't cook with meat that often, you gotta make sure you wash it with soap really well. Otherwise you'll die. And Harley and I are just having some sandwiches. Grilled cheese and it's good stuff.
That hot sauce is amazing.
Let's zoom into the sandwich. It's a grilled cheese sandwich with some sriracha hot sauce. Delicious.
This is not weed. This is Mexican oregano.
Same thing.
We're still gonna smoke it.
Alright, so this stage is browning and browning pork into chunks, and we will be back in a second.
So our pork is nearly browned.
Can you see it properly in the light?
Yes.
Okay.
And we're gonna add the water in a second.
But I forgot to mention
Make the broth.
that before you put the pork in, you gotta put oil, like some vegetable oil.
Yeah.
Not virgin olive oil because it gets bitter when you fry it. So yeah, you want any sort of vegetable oil, and then you put the meat in and you brown it so that it's like brown on all sides. Turn it all around, and see there's that nice bone in there. It's totally like getting bled out, and it's gonna flavor. And all this brown, all these brownings are what it's what's gonna make the broth so tasty. All right. I wish we could have smell-o-vision so you could smell it.
It's true.
It smells delicious.
We're gonna look into that.
Yeah.
Smell-o-vision.
Be on the alert for our next smell-o-vision vlog.
Smell-o-vision vlog.
Again, we are back at the pot on the stove with the browned pork, and it's submerged in the water. Harley, do you want to give it a little stir and show where the chunks are?
For the chunks, you want to just cover the chunks.
That's right. And I boiled the water first so that it's already hot, but you can put cold water in there and then it'll heat up with you. But you got to crank the stove to get it boiling again. And once it's boiling, then you turn it down to a low simmer, and then you're going to want to cover it and keep it low simmering, maybe at about 2 or 3. Keep it simmering for anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. The longer you let it simmer, the more tender the meat. Anything to add to that, Harley?
Just that you mentioned before you don't want to use hot water from your sink because the hot water tank is actually, that water's been sitting there a long time, it's really dirty. So it's either best to use cold water or like what Rebecca did is boil cold water. Yeah,
so can't think if I'm forgetting anything, but it's gonna simmer and there's gonna get like a little foam on top from the fat, and that's fine. You could let it, we'll scoop it off later if we need to, but sometimes it just disintegrates back into the broth.
Yeah, I didn't scoop it out before.
Yeah, you don't really need to. Yeah, so we're gonna cover it up and we're gonna go to the beer store and get beer for our party because we're gonna have special guests for you later. Bye. Okay, so I'm gonna salt the broth now. So check it out. I'm gonna use sea salt. It's good stuff. So I'm gonna do 2 little handfuls. Hope that's not too salty. I think it'll be good though. That's it. Skin off.
So we're blanching the tomatoes to get the skin off here. And you don't necessarily have to do that, but we like to.
You can buy a can of diced tomatoes. Whoa, look at the seeds on the floor, exciting.
If you're a wimp.
If you're a wimp, but if you're doing it right, then you're going to do it right.
Oh, you're already seeding the wahilos? We gotta film that. That's
yeah.
very important.
I'm seeding the wahio peppers, taking the seeds out, because unless you want to have a burning digestive system, you need to take out all or most of the seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the hottest part of the pepper. But we also want the flavor of the skin.
I learned the hard way once that you want to use the washroom before you start seeding the wahilo peppers.
Yes. And pretty soon you're going to see the skin of the tomatoes peeling off in the water. Oh yeah, and don't touch your eyes after.
This only takes a couple minutes, right?
Yeah, like 1 minute, literally.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening already. It's happening!
So these are the wahilo peppers.
The tomatoes, because the skin is coming off itself, so it makes it very easy to take the skin off. Make sure you dump the boiling water and put cold water in so you don't burn yourself.
Yes. This is our manager, Amy, by the way. Hi, Amy.
And you want to use, like, for that big pot of soup, you probably want to use anywhere from 4 to 8 tomatoes, whatever you want. It doesn't have to be tomatoes, but, you know, it could be little children or...
Tomato children.
Tomato children, yeah. No, tomatoes are good. And I'm half-assedly taking off the skin. I'm just sort of peeling it off, because bits of skin aren't a very great texture in the soup, because it's kind of tough. The end. Blanching the tomatoes.